Getting better at writing copy is just a process of writing simply. The simpler you are, the more effective your writing will be. And simplicity comes from better focus. You should ask yourself 2 questions about your copy. Why should I read it? And what do you want me to do after I've read it? That's it. So I'm going to walk you through a process that will help you simplify your copy. Well, we all want to become better, don't we? It's only natural. It doesn't matter what part of the journey we're on as a copywriter, there's always room for improvement. So what do we do if we want to get better? First thing, there is no ceiling for improvement. We're all at different stages, but there are some things that are true for every single copywriter. There are basically 3 stages of writing: before, during, and after. That's the prep work, followed by the execution, and then the sale. So we can work on each one to get better. Preparation is basically the information gathering stage where you're trying to find a strategy to achieve your communication goals. The execution is you finding an insight with your writing that will help deliver that strategy. You're answering questions like, what tone should I use? How am I going to get them to believe what I say? The sale is, of course, where you have to convince somebody that the copy that you have written will be effective. So let's start with the preparation stage. How can you be better prepared to write? So if finding a strategy for your writing is not coming naturally, you can use something called a think, feel, do model. This gives you a framework to build your writing on. It's kind of like having a map of where you want to go with your writing. Because there's nothing worse than having a blank sheet of paper and not knowing where or how to start. So what is think, feel, do? Well, think is what you want your consumer to think once they've finished reading your copy. Then it's how do you want them to feel? It's the emotion that will instigate an action. And then the do is what's the doing bit that you want them to do after they finish reading. Clients love that bit because that's where they make their sales. But it's the feeling part that is the most difficult. You have to understand people. You have to understand what makes them tick to make them change their behavior. What you want people to think. This is a place further down the line when people have time to reflect on what you've written. What are they thinking about their products and brands now, and where would you like them to go? What drives that decision making is an emotion, and that's where how do you want them to feel comes in. So which emotion do you think will work best for you? Do you want your consumer to feel empowered? Are you going to use desire? Are you going to use jealousy? Are you going to use the fear of missing out? You'll need to evoke an emotion to get a response. And then that leads to the do. What do you want people to do in response to how they think and how they feel? Do you want people to buy the product? Do you want people to recommend it to other people? Do you want them to engage in the brand? Do you want them to get on social media, click on a website, send an email, make a phone call? These are all physical things that you want them to do. So that think, feel, do model gives you a plan. It gives you a direction. It's just helping you channel your thoughts so that your writing has purpose. So now we're at the execution, the bit where you're sitting down at your computer, fingers on the keyboard, blank file in front of you. Time to start filling that up. So this section is really about how can you make it easier to put the right words on paper. I'm not going to go into the details here of writing headlines and shorter sentences and all that kind of stuff. I have other videos that you can watch on all of those things. I want to talk about making your writing more powerful. And that's really about making your writing more insightful. An insight is an observation. That can come from data or research or just you watching people. You've seen something, a pattern of behavior, and you're able to connect that to your product or brand or whatever you're writing about in a way that's not been seen before. You can do this, your writing's going to stand out because it's new, and also it's going to be persuasive because you're connecting with the audience. Demonstrating that you understand them. And that's at the heart of being a good copywriter. Okay, so the next step is to sell that work, convince people that your words will be effective. So if you've gone through that process, you have a strategy, you know why you're doing something, you have an outcome, you know what you want to do. You also have a rationalization why they will behave in that way, because you have some insight on their behavior. You can demonstrate that everything that you've written has clear purpose. Copywriting's always going to be a very subjective game. It's very easy for somebody to say, I don't like it. But if you can show method to your writing and you can show insight into your writing, then that becomes a great product. You've set out with a goal, you've followed a map, and then you've got to the destination where the client wants to go. So great, thumbs up to everybody. If you do one thing to improve your writing that will help all over those 3 stages, then it's this. Be a good observer of human behavior. It doesn't matter what you're selling or who to. If you understand how people behave, you become much better and a much more effective writer. So observe people. Be a fly on the wall with friends and family or strangers, people from different ages, backgrounds. Watch them and learn. I always thought that was my superpower. I could relate to all sorts of people. Because if you understand people, you'll understand what to say and how to say it. This is the best preparation for any writing. Okay, to recap, start off by creating a map for your writing. Work out where you want to go and how you're going to get there. This is your strategy. Then look for an audience insight. This is the reason they will listen and pay attention to what you have to say. Next, target an emotion because this is the trigger that will get people to act. This is a goal-focused structure that gets results. Your writing will have a purpose, it has a goal, and it is compelling. And that's good copywriting. So I hope you found that useful. And if you did, please let me know in the comments. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for watching.